For decades, the world's superpowers have wrapped themselves in a shield, a complex web of defenses so advanced it seemed unbreakable. They were wrong. A new class of weapon, traveling at over a mile a second and smart enough to dodge any defense, is about to change everything we think we know about modern war. This isn't science fiction. It's the terrifying reality of hypersonic weapons. And their arrival has kicked off a new, high-stakes global arms race that could redefine what security even means. Hello everyone. I'm sure you've all seen that Iran launched a hypersonic missile these past few days. Today, let's talk about this super weapon. Section 1. The illusion of the impenetrable shield. So, what makes this new weapon so revolutionary? To get it, you first have to understand the fortress it was designed to smash. For the last 50 years, military strategy has been a relentless game of cat and mouse, of strike and counter-strike. The heart of this game is missile defense. Nations have poured trillions of dollars into a layered shield to stop an attack. It all starts in space, with satellites constantly scanning the horizon for the intense heat bloom of a missile launch thousands of miles away. Once a threat is spotted, a massive network of ground and sea-based radar takes over. Think of systems like the American Aegis on warships or the THAAD battery. These are the eyes of the shield, powerful radars tracking objects, moving at incredible speeds. Once it's tracked, the fist of the shield comes out to play. The interceptor missile. These aren't explosives. They're basically a guided bullet designed to collide with another bullet. An interceptor launches at breathtaking speed, getting constant updates from the radar network, trying to put itself right in the path of the incoming warhead and obliterate it through sheer force high above the Earth. This whole sequence, from detection to interception, happens in just minutes. It's a technological marvel built on one single crucial assumption: predictability. Traditional intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs, are incredibly powerful, but they are also slaves to physics. Once their engine burns out, they follow a high-arching, predictable path through space. Defenders might not know the exact target, but they can calculate that arc and send an interceptor to a point in space where they know the warhead is going to be. The shield was designed to stop a rock thrown in a predictable arc, no matter how fast that rock was thrown. But what happens when the rock can think? What happens when it can change its path? Section 2. The game changer. What is a hypersonic missile? This is where the game completely changes. A hypersonic weapon is defined by two things that, together, make older defense systems almost useless: speed and maneuverability. The bar for hypersonic is Mach 5, or 5 times the speed of sound. That's about 3,800 miles per hour, or just over a mile every single second. At that speed, the time between spotting a weapon and getting hit shrinks from minutes to just seconds. But speed isn't the real innovation. We've had fast missiles for decades. The truly terrifying breakthrough is the ability to maneuver a lot. Unlike a ballistic missile that's locked into its arc, a hypersonic weapon can make sharp turns, change its altitude, and actively dodge defenses. You might think you know where it's going, only for it to suddenly swerve and head for a totally different target, hundreds of miles away. There are two main flavors of these things. First, you have hypersonic glide vehicles, or HGVs. An HGV rides a normal rocket up to a high altitude, but instead of just falling back to Earth, it detaches and becomes a glider, literally surfing on its own shockwaves as it screams back into the atmosphere. This lets it fly much lower than a ballistic missile, staying under the view of many radar systems for most of its flight. It can pull up, dive, and weave, making it impossible to guess its final target. Second, there are hypersonic cruise missiles. These are even more sci-fi. They're powered by revolutionary engines called scramjets. A normal jet engine has to slow down the air coming in to burn fuel. A scramjet is so advanced it can keep its engine lit inside air that is itself moving at supersonic speeds. This lets the missile fly its entire trip under its own power at Mach 5 or more, hugging the ground and maneuvering like a fighter jet, but at speeds we once thought were impossible for a powered missile. This mix of insane speed and unpredictable agility creates a weapon that existing defenses were just never built for. The old shield was made for a predictable threat. Hypersonic weapons are anything but. Section 3. A new global arms race. Of course, a weapon this disruptive didn't stay a secret. The race to develop hypersonic weapons has ignited a fierce, undeclared arms race between Russia, China, and the United States. Russia was one of the first to declare it had working systems. Its avant-garde is a glide vehicle that Moscow claims can hit an unbelievable Mach 27 and make sharp evasive maneuvers on its way down. It has also used a Kinzhal, an air-launched missile set to reach Mach 10 in the conflict in Ukraine, though its real-world effectiveness is still being debated. China, however, may be the country that has invested the most, the fastest. According to some reports, China has run as many as 20 times more hypersonic tests than the United States. It's already shown off weapons like the DF-17, a missile designed to launch a hypersonic glider with a range of up to 500 kilometers. This blistering pace has given Beijing a major strategic edge, and it's making leaders in Washington very nervous. The U.S., after years of on-again, off-again focus, is now pouring billions into the race. America is developing a whole portfolio of weapons, like the Navy's conventional prompt strike, the Army's long-range hypersonic weapon, and the Air Force's hypersonic attack cruise missile. But there's a key difference. While Russian and Chinese systems are widely thought to be designed for nuclear warheads, U.S. programs are focused on conventional, high-precision strikes. That means American weapons need to be even more accurate, which is a much harder tech problem to solve. And that push is showing results. In late February 2026, the American company Ursa Major unveiled the HAVOC missile system, a new medium-range hypersonic weapon that can be launched from planes, ships, or the ground. Its liquid rocket engine is a game changer, allowing it to change its speed, or even restart in mid-flight, making it even more unpredictable. Just days later, on the 27th of February 2026, a landmark test saw an Australian-designed, 3D printed scramjet called the Dart AE successfully launched in the US, hitting Mach 8. This test, part of the Pentagon's HiCat program, is all about using commercial tech to make testing faster and cheaper, which has been a huge bottleneck. Section 4. The terrifying implications. The arrival of these weapons does more than just add a new piece to the global chessboard. It threatens to flip the whole board over. For over 70 years, a tense kind of stability has been kept by the idea of mutually assured destruction, or MAD. The thinking was simple. No country would launch a nuclear first strike because they knew they couldn't possibly survive the retaliation that was sure to follow. This all depended on being able to see an attack coming and having time to respond. Hypersonic weapons chew away at that foundation. Their speed crushes decision-making time from about 30 minutes down to maybe 5. Their maneuverability could, in theory, let a country launch a decapitating first strike, taking out an enemy's leaders and their ability to retaliate before they even knew what was happening. The fear isn't just that these weapons exist, it's that they create a terrible use it or lose it pressure in a crisis. If you think a hypersonic attack is coming, your only logical move might be to strike first yourself. This makes the world a much less stable, much more dangerous place, where a catastrophic mistake is far more likely. The line between a conventional and a nuclear war gets blurry when a non-nuclear hypersonic missile can have the same strategic effect as a nuclear one. In response, a new defensive arms race is just kicking off. The most promising way to stop a hypersonic missile might just be with another hypersonic missile. The focus now is on a layered defense, with a new generation of space-based sensors to spot them earlier and special glide phase interceptors to hit them when they're most vulnerable. But it's a monumental challenge. You're trying to hit a bullet with another bullet, while both are moving at over a mile per second, and one of them is actively trying to dodge you. We've entered a new era. The old rules of deterrence, of predictable threats and guaranteed responses, are being rewritten by the physics of speed and the chaos of maneuverability. The unstoppable weapon is here, and it has kicked off a frantic, high-tech race for dominance that will define global security for decades. The shield is broken. Now, the world's powers are scrambling to forge a new sword and a new shield in a world that suddenly feels a whole lot faster and a lot less safe. So the big question is, in a world where an attack is instantaneous and defense is uncertain, what does it even mean to be safe? If you found this deep dive into military technology fascinating, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more on the forces shaping our world. And don't forget to check out our other video on the future of drone warfare right here. Thanks for watching.